Hey guys, and welcome back to Hobby Time. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my newest obsession project, this American Flyer HO Scale Hudson. Now you may be thinking, that's not a Hudson, that's just a tender. Oh no, my friend. The rest of it's still here. Right here. Now you also still may be thinking, that's still not a Hudson, that's just a pile of parts that looks relatively like a train. Yes, I know this. I've been working on this project for about a year. It's been sitting on my workbench, and I'm just getting around to it. There, that helps your mind try and conceive it as a train. But basically, this was a project I had gotten from a train show quite a while ago at this point, and I'm very excited to finally be getting around to working on it. So, without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and show you what I've done to it so far. But to start off, I'd like to take a look at the locomotive's chassis, which you can see here is in, honestly, not too bad of a shape. This locomotive had probably been sitting for the better part of 50 years, and there was dust caked absolutely everywhere, all over this thing. And especially the shell, but inside was, pretty nasty as well. So some of the things I've done to it are polish up the drive rods and lube everything up, clean all the motors, the parts to the motor. The headlight is currently non-operational, obviously, because there's none in it, but the bulb that was in there is kind of burnt out at this point, so I'll have to find a replacement. Another thing I did was this locomotive, I found it runs much better with the tender smoke unit, as you'll see in a second. It runs a lot better on AC, so I decided to make a rather janky looking bridge rectifier out of some diodes. This is a temporary solution at best. Hopefully I'll be able to find some sort of reversing unit or a way to work it on DC better. But for now, this is how it's going to go. It's going to go forward only, but it runs great no matter what. Now obviously it's not just a chassis, and there's also the shell to go with it here. As you can see, there's this nice long pneumatic tube sticking out of the bottom of it that goes up to the chimney for the smoke. Down here we can see, it's hard to see, I might have to grab my flashlight, point that on there. June 23rd, 1948, I'm pretty sure that says. That's when this thing was beautifully made by the American Flyer Company and A.C. Gilbert. And yeah, I mean, it's just a wonderful piece. Honestly, for the time, it has some okay detailing. Now, moving on to the tender. Now, here is our locomotive's tender. As you can see, looking pretty sharp here. I mean, as good as a tender can look. This tender was honestly the worst out of the bunch. It was caked in dust, and as well as everything else, but especially because the smoke fluid had kind of leaked everywhere and left this grime everywhere. It was not that great. But now, as you can see, it looks pretty nice after a nice wash in the sink with some soap and, whatnot with a toothbrush. The only thing that's really missing from it is this one axle. When I took it apart a year ago, I don't know what was up with me, but I decided to put the rest of the wheels in some other place. So I found the rest of them, but I'm sure the other axle is floating around here somewhere. So, I mean, it works just fine without it, honestly. So, pretty happy with that. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of this tender where the magic really happens. So, as you can see now, we've got our tender with the pneumatic here, which pumps the smoke into here, which comes out the front and goes up the tube. We have our drive shaft here with the little cog wheel gear. As you can see here, when this motor spins, it pushes that bellows pneumatic in and out, which pumps the smoke. There's this motor here, 3-pole, yeah, about that, 3-pole motor here with the It's an AC motor, but it can run on DC, as you'll see. There's got the fuel coil. There's also this nice switch that you can turn on and off the smoke, because it does get quite foggy, whatever room you're using this in. Now, originally this smoke unit did come with a rather large thing here that goes on here, but that I found is quite a nuisance and did not work that well anyway. So I used some 3D printed pieces here with some modification to make my own bracket for this. And it works quite well, so happy with that turned out. I did rewire the whole thing except for these pieces here at the front and some of the original wiring that goes back here with the what's it called? Felt? No. You know, the stuff that covers the wires that doesn't degrade. And this tender actually does run quite nicely. So let me get my power pack hooked up and we'll give it a little bit of a demonstration here. As you can see, this thing is extremely effective at producing smoke, and when it's put in the locomotive, it's 10 times better, I swear. So really, that was the tender, in a bit of an overview here. A couple more little things include, basically when you're rebuilding one of these, you want to, in here there's some small gaskets, you'd want to replace those too, because this is actually filled with smoke fluid with a wick in here. This you can make out of some thin cardboard pieces. I found that like a paper towel tube, a roll cut up into, fit in there, actually works surprisingly well. That's what I'm using currently. Then also, if your engine has an original smoke element in there, it might be a wise decision to buy a new element. You can get those online. I got this one, and as you can see, it's much better than the original, which honestly didn't even work at all. So if yours works, you don't have to replace it if you don't want to. That also came with a new wick that we installed, along with this bellows cloth. The original one had been eaten away, I think by a mouse or something. I don't know how, but it's pretty much rotted away. I thankfully had lots of bellows cloth on hand, as I do many pneumatic instrument restorations and stuff such like that, but it turns out this thing uses some very interesting bellows cloth that I somehow didn't have on hand, so I had to order some from online, and you can get this from various sources. Alrighty guys, I know this was kind of a bit of a random, somewhat odd video. It kind of came out of the blue, but I thought I might as well show one of my projects I've been working on as of late that's been taking up lots of my time to be posting videos, and that's why I've kind of been going silent as of late. And, life. If you don't have one, you should get one, which is something I don't have. I'm kidding. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully found it somewhat informative. And, yeah, I'll stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.